Well, I heard it was some AFC North champs in the house. Heard it was a 10-win season in the house. Heard somebody ruined the Baltimore Ratbirds New Year already in the house. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, you know what time it is. Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Your boy Arthur Moats here. We are joined by my favorite panel, that distinguished panel, that panel that will challenge us regardless of the scenario, but they always gonna be prepared the way that we love it. And I'm talking about none other than the lovely Miss TaNeisha from at Really Flawed Football. Shout out to her. And you know I got my heavy hitter with me today, talking about the WRAL Channel 5 producer in Raleigh, North Carolina, Mark Bergin. How is the blood pressure feeling this morning? Have we, been able to woosah? We celebrated? Are we back to normal? What's the vibes from y'all side? Because I'm still recovering over here.
I don't want to be back to normal. No, we waited so long for this. Took so much crap this year. All of the things, these are the moments. This is what you suffer for. As fans, we've been defending and saying this and saying that. And no, I'm not coming off of this. Ask me again on Thursday. I don't have to come off of this. I'm not a player. I don't have to move on. So no, I'm not. I haven't moved on yet.
There it is. What about you, Mark? How you feeling over there, man? What's the energy, baby?
My PSA to the youth watching the Arthur Moats experience this morning is this. Sometimes in life, it is better to be lucky than good. 100%. I really think the Steelers are lucky to have walked away as AFC North champions because we're talking about the scoring onslaught to end that game. 4 consecutive touchdowns, back to back before the missed field goal. 44-yarder. I know it's really tough to kick in Pittsburgh. But, man, it was just I had all the emotions last night. Roller coaster game, crazy game.
Yeah.
Let's go. I absolutely love that. It is always good to hear both of y'all perspectives, man, because I always have such a different perspective. It was crazy, man. I was actually fortunate enough to be in the stadium, man, for this whole game. It was chaos. It was lovely, right? But hearing y'all talk, man, no exaggeration, in the section, going back and forth, it was that vibe right there. Oh, my God. Oh, it's crazy excitement. And I'm just being there yo, am I the only one with this, just crazy confidence? And I think I definitely was. In fact, a person looked at me after the Boz missed the field goal, and they yo, why are you the only one over here jumping up and down and excited? And I'm like, bro, because he about to come out here and miss their field goal. We about to walk out of here. And literally, when this thing happens, just to see the holy you, I'm like, yo, you dang on right we did. Come on, man. I just that level of confidence. I can't make it up. Even the Calvin Austin touchdown is yo, he's about to score right here. And I got some Ravens in my section and they talking spicy by that. Come on now. After Zay Flowers hit us for the second one, I'll be like, oh my Lord. All right. They on my head over there. It was bad, Mark. They was on my head hard. My little guy next to me is like, Dad, what we gonna do? I said, son, don't you blink. All right. Cut the eyelids off. You better not blink. He said, yes, sir, Daddy. Yes, sir. Calvin Austin, man. So I'm just yo, man, I just love the natural, differences that we have because of what you brought up at times, TaNeisha, right? The perspectives of experiences and being able to be in some of those games like what we saw last night. It's just man, you live for that. And I think that's why I'm still just so juiced up about it, But when we think about this game, everything coming into it, we knew, this was going to be one of those up and down things because we saw Lamar was going to be out there. And I thought that he played well. So to start this thing off, man, defensively, what were y'all thoughts on that side of the ball? Because we know how it started off with Derrick Henry and everything.
Yeah. I was so worried about how, because my thing all year has been this offense keeps this defense out in the field so long. And I was so worried that they were going to do that. And eventually they were going to wear down because they couldn't move the ball. That was my biggest concern. But I think this defense got a boost from this offense. I think being able to be out on the field a little bit longer, being able to stretch a couple of things, they weren't scoring, but they were almost doing their job enough to keep that defense fresh. And until the last 4 minutes or something, I thought the defense was fantastic. And then it was all of a sudden everything started working for them, but then everything started working for us. So I was really proud of the defense. Now I know the first half like didn't go the way we wanted to as far as Derrick Henry, but hey, I'll take that to start that way, to end the way we did any day of the week. Like,
let's go.
Any day of the week.
Let me go glass half full, and then I'll go glass half empty. Glass half
Talk
full.
your talk, Mark. Let's go.
When I look at the first half, and I thought that even though it wasn't as high scoring of a game, I thought the Ravens had better control of the game because of Derrick Henry's ability to run the ball. He had 112 rushing yards at half, only 14 in the second half. So credit Pittsburgh's defense there, and how and you can't blame Baltimore too much because they did create scoring opportunities and they scored touchdowns in the second half. Now, there's a reason Lamar Jackson is a two-time MVP, and you saw the play where he escaped the rush with Alex Highsmith and Keanu Benton, and he looked dead to rights. He escapes the sack. I don't know how he got out of it, and he finds Zay Flowers down the field. Like, it's the old slogan where it's like, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice. How that can happen multiple times was a huge cause for concern. And then at the end of the game, you know, I'm seeing a lot of this of, with the rookie kicker, 44-yard field goal. Should Baltimore have gotten even closer because of the challenges of kicking at Acrisure Stadium? You know, Isaiah Likely finally making a play. We've seen so many times, including earlier this season, when he's involved in plays where it's like right there and he's given his best effort and the Ravens fall short. Well, he did what he needed to do. And it's like the NFL's highest paid defense, our tone, our optimism, hosting a playoff game against the Texans would be totally different if he simply had made the kick. You're also talking about different outcomes as well, and we'll get into this too, of if Boswell makes his extra point, but then the decision at the end of the first half as well to go for it with Kenneth Gainwell, he stopped short, and the Steelers come away with no points as well. So just like I said, a roller coaster of a game. But at the end of the game, when you need a stop, and especially coming off Boswell's miss, the special teams return by the Ravens. They got a really good return. I would have wanted to see better special teams there. But then it's like, shut it down, because really, defensively, and I'll land here, the Steelers' defense really got it was the Ronnie Stanley penalty, which bumped Baltimore back. That was a huge play down the stretch in last night's game.
Let's go. Let's go. For me, man, it was a beautiful defensive performance, start to finish, for a couple of reasons. We, number one, got to see adjustments. We figured, okay, first time we played the Ravens, Lamar was compromised. So you could play a little bit more aggressive on Derrick Henry and allow Lamar to kind of just do his thing because he wasn't pulling it and running it. Well, early on, we all saw that Lamar Jackson actually could pull it and he actually could run it. Hey, whatever that back injury was, he had recovered from it. So whatever the initial game plan was, tear that up. That's not going to get us out this stadium tonight. We better go figure out something to do. I love that, because that's been one of the critiques all season, right? Oh, they don't make enough adjustments. So we actually did see that adjustment. You brought it up, 112 rushing yards in that first half. How many rush yards in the second half, right? Adjustments. Then the thing that I was really impressed with was this, man. In the midst of all the back and forth, all of the, oh my gosh, this is going on, this is crazy, defense never blinked. And what I mean is this, right? We talk about the 2 touchdowns, and I get it, right? How does it happen 2 times? Well, the way it happens is this, man. A guy like Lamar Jackson is able to extend plays. And when you can extend plays, it puts too much stress on the coverage part of it. And that's why when you look at Patrick Queen getting hit with the Zay Flowers touchdown, everybody's pointing at Patrick Queen and Terrell Lawson and saying, why would we have Zay Flowers and Patrick Queen guard him? You're stupid, Terrell Lawson. It's like, no, guys, you're showing your lack of understanding. Those guys got to make that sack. That's the issue right there. Zero to do with the coverage. Coverage was perfect if they actually make the sack. But this is also why Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP. This is also why Lamar Jackson is a $100 guaranteed $1 million quarterback. This is why Lamar Jackson has been one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league the past 5 years, man. But once again, because he doesn't wear our colors, we minimize who he is in those moments. He's special for a reason. Zay Flowers, Pro Bowl receiver, right? One of the first Pro Bowl receivers in Ravens history. Why? Because when Lamar Jackson can extend plays, he is extremely difficult to stick with. It's Zay freaking Flowers. Like, I don't care who you put out there. When you have to guard a guy for that long, those are some of the things that happen. So to see that the rush did make big time plays at multiple times, right? Whether you're talking Herbig sack, Highsmith sack, shout out to my dog TJ Watt with the interception in his game back, Killer Cam Heyward with his pass rush. We could see where, yeah, man, our guys did make those plays. That highest paid defense did show up. But at the same time, man, Isaiah Likely, he's a good player, is he not? We talk about, man, all these near situations. Heck, I loved it, man. Jalen Ramsey going up, Isaiah Likely going up. Their guy made the play. And it's like, who's going to show that they need a big dog with them? A lot of people did. But it's like, man, shoot, this is why you have to execute. We don't get to, hey, man, the Boz missed field goal is such a deal breaker, this and that. But then they do go smoke a 44-yarder. Absolutely not. I don't care lucky. I don't care good. Go out there and execute every phase, right? 3 quarters or 3 phases, 4 quarters. If you don't do that, there is no luck involved with that. That's skill. And if the pressure was too big for you, which is why it becomes such a challenge at this level, this is how you get it. And it sucks for the young guy, man. Rookie crawling off the field like that, my heart does go out to him. But at the same time, this is why you do this thing. This is why you play. This is why you want that pressure. You have to earn it to be in that moment, and you live with the results. You live with the outcome, whether it was good or bad. And that's the thing that I thought this defense did. They stood up and they just lived with it, man. And shout out to making a tackle, right? Patrick Quinn making his tackle 2 weeks ago versus the Lions, make them snap it again. Shoot, find a way today, go get Likely down. Just, I don't care how we do it. Just make sure he's down. Snap it again, man. And those are some of the things that this defense has been able to continue to do while creating turnovers as well.
Arthur, I have a question for you because you were at the game. The loop field goal, was he kicking to the open end of the stadium or the closed end of the stand?
Closed in, the easy end. And that's why when I hear this luck, I hear all this is like, no, I see a dude that folded under the pressure, because literally as that drive starts, you talk about that revert, or so literally, man, that kickoff, right? It was funny. I'm going to give y'all some behind the scenes. I was actually, able to go tap in with the guys prior to the game. I was at the hotel, setting the meetings, was getting all the coaching points. And literally they were like, yo, man, they don't run that kickoff return often, but when they do, it's been pretty productive. And to see it literally happen on that last kickoff, it's just like, God dang it. That was the part that pissed me off, because it's like, yo, we've already talked about this. I sat in that meeting room and I already heard them say, yo, they're going to run this counter. They don't do it often, but when they do, this is how they run it. And to see it hit the way that it did, that was the pissed off part, because it goes back to what? I've already heard you coach this up. I've already heard you detail this. I know. I'm sitting next to my son saying, hey, look, they kick it every time to 90. And when they run this play, this is how they running it, because we was in that meeting. So to see that part, that was the part that pissed me off. It is like, yo, respond, right? Respond.
Yeah.
But to kick that field goal, I mean, dude, it was a lot of pressure, because everybody knew what that was. When Likely caught that, everybody in the stadium knew it's going to come down to, can you block this kick or can he make this kick? And when Lamar did that take the knee thing, it's like, all right, let's go. Like, it is what it is. And this is the part of why you hear the optimism always with me, because we've seen a Jalen Carter block a field goal to win a game for the Philadelphia Eagles, and nobody looked at Philadelphia and said, poo, y'all suck. It was, dude, they are so great that you never can count them out. Dude, they are so fire that anybody can make a play at any time. But yet, when you see us rushing like a son of a gun, you got, I think it was Nick Herbig jumping over the dudes and everything legally as well. Hey, man, no, that's luck. It's like, nah, dude, it's execution, it's pressure. And that's what it's for. And that's why you never can give up. You always have to believe, man. But that was the vibe down there. But definitely to the close in, man, the easier end of kicking.
That was where the priest blessed the end zone.
I saw
Shout
that.
Out to him. Shout out to him. Listen, make sure you say your prayers if that's what you believe in. So shout out to whoever decided to bring him into the stadium. I don't care if it really wasn't him. I don't care. I'm giving him credit. Everyone gets credit. Everything everybody did in that moment. All the superstitious people, all of the things that everybody did before that field goal. I love you today, okay? Like, you're my favorite people today.
Yo, it really was a priest that blessed us. We didn't even realize that being in the stadium because it's so chaotic, right? But looking on social media afterwards and seeing this priest really was down, I'm like, yo, I don't know who that priest was. And I know a lot of the people that work with the squad. he needs to come back next week. All right. We got another game on Monday. I don't know what you got going on, but you need to be back. Okay.
100%.
I don't think y'all got any services Monday night at 8:20. I need you here. Yeah.
100%.
And I mean, we're talking with Boswell. Arthur, I'm with you there because it was his first missed extra point, week 15 of the 2023 season. And that ensuing kickoff was his next opportunity to get it right. And it's not totally all on him, but it's like you got to execute with the next opportunity that you have. And that didn't happen. It put the defense in a really bad spot. And that's my point with the Ronnie Stanley penalty, where it's like that really helped the Steelers in terms of field positioning. I really think there's a real argument to be made here because Harbaugh had another timeout to say, can we give the ball to Derrick Henry? And even if he gets 2 yards closer, it's an easier field goal to make. Like, I know we see all of these kickers just bombing field goals this year from distance. Pittsburgh is a very, very tough to make a place to make a field goal. In last night's game, the last 2 kicks that we saw are evidence of that.
And shoot, not just a tough place to kick. Remember what he was kicking for, the AFC North Championship. If you make this, your team wins and goes to the playoff and hosts a playoff game. You send your arch rival home sick with the blues 3 days into the new year, right?
Yeah.
That's the pressure. It's like not everybody can handle it though, man.
In Loop, to his credit, answered like 8 minutes worth of questions after the game. Stood up.
That.
I mean,
don't run
that's
from
got
it.
to be really tough to do when the season is over for Baltimore. And I'll say this though too. Like what I was thinking about this is like, who on the Steelers thanks Loop the most? Like who's sending Loop a Christmas card next year?
You know who?
Is it going to be? I think Boswell's
Same
probably got to
position.
be number one. But like Mike Tomlin is gonna send Tyler Loop a Christmas card because like I just got to be real here. I really thought the opposite. The result should have been flipped, but that's why I say out the top. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good because like in the back of my mind, if Justin Tucker is the one kicking there for the Ravens. We're talking about the Steelers season being over and not vice versa. That's just how I feel in my soul.
I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that.
I'm just telling you how I feel.
Oh, no, I respect that.
And I think I wonder what Justin Tucker is doing today. Hey, Justin Tucker, how are you today? I think one of the things that's interesting to me is to see everybody's reaction about. We always react to the last play. We never talk about the plays that got us there. And it's like, had the Steelers not scored with like a minute left, did we like get lucky and score to put them in that situation? I mean, we set up here last week. We were struggling on offense last week. And when I say struggling, I mean like struggling. Like we were like
6 points? 6 points, right?
6 points, they scored a touchdown, looked terrible. And I remember saying, like, I'm glad that we're playing without DK this week so that next week we can just get that out of the way. Like, you know what that feels like? We got to make adjustments. And to me, this team put up 26 points. The week before, we put up 6 points. And did the last sequence go like we wanted it to? No, but we were there. If you're going to say the end was luck, then you have to say we were there because of luck. And I don't think so. Like, I just think that we called the right plays. I think we executed well. And I think we put ourselves in position to win. Now, if they lost the game for them, that's on them. But if we didn't score the last touchdown, we wouldn't have even been in that place. So that's what, for me, like, I get it as a sports fan. We always talk about luck and moments, but sometimes the ball just falls your way. Sometimes that guy couldn't sustain the pressure that he needed to sustain. And that was his first time kicking in Pittsburgh, I think, ever. And so again, it goes back to, and then as like always, as more things come out, they said that in the warm-ups, he was also struggling. And they said that he had been struggling. So my point is, you brought up Harbaugh. Where is the smoke for Harbaugh? Did he play that right? Did he give his kicker every advantage?
He had another timeout at the end, did he not? I mean, I would have tried to at least run the ball. And you've got Lamar Jackson, the 2-time MVP, and King Henry back there. You can't get another yard or two? That's crazy to me. And if you've got a timeout to spare, why not try to get as close as possible and say, hey, 2 hands on the ball, protect it. But if those players is as heralded as they are, like, I know distance wasn't the issue, but get it as close as possible, again, for a rookie kicker given the moment. So TaNeisha, I'm with you in terms of questioning Harbaugh. I'm with you there.
To me, it just sounds like, for one side, the pressure wasn't too big and the skills continue to show in every single aspect. Whereas the other side, you got coaching questions, right? You have performance and execution questions. I'm just trying to figure out why is one side considered lucky, whereas the other side, it looks like malpractice. It looks like, coaching issues. I feel like if the outcome was reversed, the way that we would be discussing the black and gold would be very, very different. But when we look at this win, it's like, oh man, it's luck. Oh man, it's this, is that. And it's like, nah, man. And personally, I know how Coach Tomlin feels about this game. He ain't tripping on Tyler Loop in the least bit because he never blinked. He never second guessed it. He never had a doubt in it. Listening to this man from Saturday night, talking to a pregame in the warm-ups, is like, yo, this dude has zero doubt that he was coming out of there with a victory. Zero doubt. Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter what it's going to look like. Doesn't matter who is going to be the guy. I remember a couple weeks ago, everybody was panicked about the wide receivers. Heck, it's been people that have questioned if Calvin Austin is good enough to play, right? Plenty of times. Adam Thielen. Why is he here? MVS. Why are we throwing the ball to MVS, right? MVS. Oh, what do we do at MVS? Oh, it's like, man, we don't know how to throw over the middle of the field a Pat Fryer move. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. All of these things that were once viewed as impossibles, they happen. It's like we just forget that actually occurred versus how many Pro Bowls they got? I know they forget to have Pro Bowls over there. I think they got 6 of them over there right now compared to our 3, including one being on special teams, right? So when I think of all of these things versus the 2-time MVP, the hot MVP, because Rodgers is like the old MVP. They got the hot MVP. It's like all this is going on. And one of the things that we struggle with is scoring. And down the stretch, it's like, we could go back to back with you. We could also stop throwing. We could also make adjustments. We could also adjust certain parts of it. And heck, even when we miss the field goal, you know how many people after the boss missed field goal would have just simply unplugged, right? Because, hey, why even go out there and play defense? Because they just need a field goal, so the game has to be over, right?
Yeah.
We should have just onside kicked it to it right there and just say, hey, man, kick your field goal. It's over. Nah, this is why you play. This is why you believe, because if you stop believing, you automatically lose. It's like you don't even get the chance to have him miss a field goal because the pressure is no longer created because the moment was too big. So that's the part where when I listen to Coach Tomlin, that's the part when I see how these guys responded, it's like they aren't afraid of the moment. A lot of people are afraid of the moment. They get uncomfortable with not being in 100% control. And it's like, dude, you better get comfortable with being uncomfortable because that is this level. That is this league every single week, as we saw once again this week.
Well, that's where I think Rodgers down the stretch was huge, and that's why you bring in Aaron Rodgers in the first place. And this comes for the fact that there were communication issues with his helmet because the timeout management, it's like, what is going on? Taking 2 timeouts on offense before even the 2-minute warning. And so, but to Rodgers' credit, they were able to call the right plays when they needed to, and that includes the touchdown to Calvin Austin III, and then even Kenneth Gainwell's touchdown on the drive before that. That's why you bring Rodgers in. And I think that's a really good point you made earlier, too, about Calvin Austin III, in that he didn't play a week ago as well. We all focus on DK Metcalf not suiting up for the last 2 games. He scored the go-ahead, what ended up being the game-winning score for the Steelers, having him out on the field. And so having another weapon at their disposal, finally getting the offense going in the second half, because they showed the graphic in the first half. I think it was 6 quarters that Rodgers was out on the field without a touchdown. So it's like they finally started to figure that out in the second half when, again, you're going back and forth with the 2-time MVP in Lamar Jackson. But, like, look, I'm just like, I go back to where the money is allocated on this team, NFL's highest paid defense, where they were right there on what should have been the sack on Lamar Jackson. He escapes, connects downfield with Zay Flowers. But then even after the Boswell miss, it's like, all right, we need to shut this down. And if you're saying in the same situation, of all the other 32 teams. Like if you run that 10 times, say you run it 10 times from 44 yards out, does the kicker make it like 7 or 8 times? I mean, in all seriousness.
You know what they say though? You know what they say?
It means we got
We'll
a chance.
never know. We'll never know. We also do have a chance, but we'll never know, because to me, it's easy to do the whole what if. Heck, well, what if Boz makes the field goal? Because if we do the Boz kicking the field goal scenario, how many times does Boz make that field goal?
Well, OT
no.
then too.
Well, once again, that changes the whole dynamic of how you even handle the in-game scenario if you're playing against guarding a field goal, though. So defensively, you're going to have different you're going to have different mindsets. The kickoff is going to be different. There are a lot of more things that happen largely due to Boz missing that extra point. That's the chain of events. So, like TaNeisha said, if we are going to only focus on this end part, then that means we have to erase everything that happened beforehand, right? Or throw that into the luck category. And to me, that's not how this works. It was a chain of events. It was a chain reaction, no different than what I talked about with Derrick Henry and how he ran the ball early on in the game, which then made us say, okay, we're going to have to make an adjustment because, hey, if we sit like this, they can hit this both ways. And we know that Lamar can run it a little bit better this time. All of those things caused the reactions. Calvin Austin being back like we talked about last week. No Calvin Austin. The matchup is different. A number 1 corner is now guarding Thielen. The number 2 corners or MVS. Calvin Austin back in the mix. Now it changes who has to guard who. And you can see once again the impact of that. It's not a luck thing. It's a skill thing. But you have to go at it every single time like that. And that's what this team does. Now, it's not always going to be perfect. And I think that's the part that once again makes it really uncomfortable for people to like fully grasp, because it's like, yo, how can it look like this in this moment, but look like this in this moment? How can I feel like this in this section of the game, but then in this part, it has zero correlation? And it's like, that's football at this level. Mm-hmm. And that's the beauty of it. That's why everybody can feel all these things and they're so valid, because yes, there are situations where, a kicker can make a routine field goal. The same where there are situations where they can miss the field goal. And that's why nothing at this level we look at and say, oh, that's an absolute 100%. And you hear everyone say, that's why you got to play the game, right? Oh, it's upset. No. That's why you play the game. That's why you play the game. I mean, shoot, if you think about it, nobody believed that we were even supposed to win. I mean, we said what Vegas had us, right?
Nobody.
Home dogs. Yeah. And it wasn't a pick 'em. It wasn't a -1, -2, -3. Shoot, at one point, I think I got up to -5, right? Yeah. So it's like, man, if all of this is being talked about, is it really all this luck? It was luck? Like maybe I just see it very, very differently when I hear all the other and how it was talked about. And then heck, how they even talked about, I mean, that was the Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah, no, I mean,
that was Super Bowl favorite.
Were supposed to beat us.
Talking preseason?
I'm talking preseason. I'm talking the majority of the time, even when Lamar was coming back, it was like, yo, when he gets back. Mm-hmm. Has that not been the boogeyman? Oh, when he gets back.
Preseason, I mean, you're talking about a team that started out 1-5, though. So, like,
who cares? Well, because we both know this. No, because Mark, this is the thing, though. We both know this. If the Steelers came into this season with the expectations of being Super Bowl favorites, this wouldn't be acceptable in the least bit. But yet we come down to the stretch in the division with the team that was viewed as that, and I gotta have a game where they got all their guys. We're still missing our main, right, DK Metcalf. And it's like, man, where is the same energy? That's all I'm saying, baby. Where is the energy at? Like, we don't, why are we minimizing what the Ravens were, who they are, what the expectations are, and then what we have done in this game? Heck, is that a sweep of Baltimore?
Yep.
Because I know how we talked about Cleveland. I know how, right?
Yep.
What that sounded like, that feeling, and now it's like, oh no, I was like, I saw a disconnect for me, baby. Yeah. I'm like, oh.
I get the luck aspect of it because I think it's a sports thing. I get it. Yeah. We're not like that in real life. We're only like that in sports. I understand it. But if you look at even statistically, the Steelers almost won every statistical measure you can think of. And even that, is that also luck? And that's kind of how I feel about the luck statement. Because after the game, I was like on such a high. I'm like, I'm listening to everybody. And I was just
Yeah.
listening to like different channels and different things. And everyone's like, yeah, but the luck of this, the luck of that. I'm
It
like,
was so-
if all of that was, if the ending was luck, then every single thing that happened from kickoff was also luck. So it's like picking and choosing when we use that word is fine. It's fine. It is what it is. Everybody has their different opinion. I love that for you all. We got lucky. That's how you feel. I don't care. We won. Like whatever it takes.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is can we just take a second and talk about Cameron Heyward?
Killer
Like,
Cam,
Oh my, like to
the
have
captain.
the moment, the game, everything. I felt like the whole game was everything we went through all season. It was wrapped up in one game. It was like the offense had their issues. The defense had their issues. Boz, we don't know what's going on with that. Like every single thing that we've been talking about all year showed up in this game. And it was like we were the ones that kind of kept course correcting. It's like, okay, we couldn't score. All right, how are we going to score? We find ways to score. It's like, all right, Derrick Henry has been running all over teams as of late. What are we going to do about it? Okay, this is what we're going to do about it. There were moments in time where I was like, what is this defense? And there was moments in time where I was like, okay, I like this defense. It felt like a combination of the entire season in one game. And it even came down, because remember how we started the season? We started the season at the Jets, remember? And Boz comes in and makes the field goal. And now we're at the end of the season and Boz has missed a field goal. And now it's like, please, somebody figure this out. I don't care how. Somebody trip and fall on accident, like fix it. And it works. So it's just like, it's interesting now the season's over to kind of go back and look at different phases of the season, because they really showed up in this moment. I felt like in this game at different times. So it was just nice to see. And like, remember when we couldn't stop the run? Like, remember there was moments where we were like, oh my God, this team can't stop the run. We're awful. Like, we cannot stop the run. That wasn't today. And it's just like, I don't know. I think I'm just proud too, because I've had time to now reflect of like how I have felt throughout the whole season. And now it's like the end of the regular season. And I'm like, wow, if I would have known that was how this is going to work out, like week 5 through 10, I would have been like, it's okay. We're going to be fine. I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know. We can't stop the run. We can't tackle. It's so nice to see where we're at now.
No, absolutely. And hearing you shout out Cam Heyward, trust, I feel you on that. Mark, I wanted to let you go first though, man. What were your thoughts on Cam Heyward, man? Everything that you saw from him in terms of how they were using him last night, man.
It was really nice to see in a key moment when they needed a turnover and flip the momentum of the game, the deflection that he had, and then Watt coming up with it, right place, right time. I wanted to see Pittsburgh punch in a touchdown there to take a bigger lead. They settled for the 25-yard field goal with Boswell on that drive, but it gave Pittsburgh the lead 13-10. It's the first time they had the lead in the game. So it's like that was one play, but just the point of attack, the line of scrimmage, and then, like I said, really bottling Henry in the second half. And it's like, that's something, if I'm the Ravens, I would have tried to go back to more. And I said this earlier, but like, I can't beat them up too much because Jackson made a few prolific plays down the stretch. And there's just no doubt about that. And again, there's a reason why you see the difference between that and what Tyler Huntley can do. They're on different levels, and it's why he is who he is in Lamar Jackson. But with Cam Heyward, it's just like, I'm just always amazed too, given his age, because there's not a lot of recent precedent of someone being his age and performing at that high of a level when you talk at the line of scrimmage with defensive linemen. So it's just like, you always say this with the Steelers defense, your foundation starts from the ground up, and really it's like A gap, B gap, and it's like that has to be stout. And if it's not, everything else falls apart around it. But they're able to make some adjustments, and I really think bottling up Henry was a huge, huge key to the victory on Sunday night.
Now, without a doubt, man, and shoot, you talk about Killer Cam, the captain. You talk about A players having to play like A players, right? In these type of games, he did that, man, start to finish. I thought that then it kind of stood out to me. First off, looking at Cam, it was the Derrick Henry first play of the game, the one where I think he runs like 40 yards and gets called back because of the illegal block in the back. But Cam is sprinting like 30 yards downfield. He ends up getting rolled up, boy. And I'm like, no, not my dog, not the first play. But it's like, you could already tell this is what Cam is on tonight. He is everywhere. And that was just like the not even full trailer of what we're going to, experience last night, because he led the team in tackles, right? You talk about the tip pass, man, to cause the pick, massive play, right? But then it was like you could see the physical or the physicality. You could see just the pressure that he would provide from the interior part of the pocket. Now, granted, it didn't always equate to a sack, but he was a part of this rush. He was a part of just the overall second half vibe. And that's the thing that I like. But then you flip it over to the offensive side of the ball, and it's like, man, no Darnell Washington. How do we run our version of the tush push? And we broke out our brotherly shove, like literally the brothers, right? like I'm watching Kill. I'm like, yo, is that Kim? I'm in the stadium, right? And they're like, 97 is reporting as eligible. And my son's like, Dad, they say 97. I'm like, I think they did. And we're like, yo, it's no way that's Cam out there. I'm like, yo, that's Cam. And remember, the first one got stopped. So I'm like, dang, all right, man, we got to get this thing figured out. So to see it come back and that one work, the one that we needed to actually score a touchdown on, that was just like, man, storybook, right? Because obviously we know, man, at times how people have even talked about Cam's little brother, Connor, right? No. We've heard the different things they've said about him, right? And it's like, no, this dude's a football player. It's like, man, we've seen how we've used him in our 4th and 1 short yardage package now, man, whether it's him doing the full-on QB sneak, him reverse handing off, him taking the handoff and reversing out, right? We've seen him make plays in a multitude of ways in that package. Shout out to Arthur Smith for continuing to develop it as well. But then you also watch Connor Heyward on kickoffs and punts. He's one of the main dudes down there making tackles there too. So to me, man, it was just cool to see both of those guys, man, have the game that they had. But Cam Heyward, man, like, regardless if this was going to be his last regular season Steelers-Ravens matchup, it's like, dude, leave it all out there, man. Yeah. And that's I thought was contagious. I thought that a lot of the dudes were feeding off of that energy right there, man. But with that though, how was we feeling offensively? Can we talk a little offense? Because we've been talking this defense, which I know I love to talk defense. I can talk defense for hours. But offensively, how we feeling? It was another scoreless or non-touchdown first quarter or whatever that stat was, right? It was like I think it's 50 games now of no first quarter. I forgot what it is, but how was we feeling about this, man? 68. Yeah, I knew it was up there. Heck yeah.
How many years is that?
It's been a while.
Hang on, shit. I've got it in my notes. Okay. Just a second.
So I'll go first. So offense, I mean, yeah. So the first half, I was like, oh gosh, okay, here we go again. And then I was like, well, it's only 10-3 because it did. I felt like at half, it felt like it was like 21-0 because it just felt like we couldn't do anything on offense. And so I remember thinking, I was like, all right, well, we got that out of the way. Let's see what we got in store for the next half. But they came alive and they did what they were supposed to do. And they started scoring points, started moving the ball down the field. It took them a minute to settle in. We started seeing all kinds of different receivers out there making catches. At that point, I didn't care. Like, somebody just make a catch, make a play. Warren and Gainwell are just, oh my gosh. Like, they're just like little bundles of joy. Like every time, like they were what was missing last week at the Browns, I thought. And it was just like, I enjoy watching them play. And then it was just, I know at one time Colin, whatever his name is, tried to act like Aaron Rodgers was the one calling plays. And then when all of a sudden when he couldn't hear, he was like, oh, maybe he's not the one calling plays. And I'm like, there's just so many things happening that I'm just like, guys, why do we get these things in our mind that aren't happening? We're just like creating things in our world that aren't real. And Aaron Rodgers' sound goes off. And now all of a sudden we're using timeouts, doing all these things. I was pissed at Aaron Rodgers for doing that. I'm not going to lie. But now, like, again, with more information, you change your mind. And so now I'm just like, okay, the offense came alive. We have an off. And then without DK, like, I wish somebody would have had a camera on DK. Like, I just wish I could have seen his reaction, how he was feeling, because I'm sure he was carrying that burden. And I'm sure he'd been carrying it since he got suspended, since they lost to the Browns. And I would love to know what he was feeling and thinking, especially this morning, waking up and now he gets to go back to work. And anyways, I just like, and we get him back. Like, we get him back. Like, he's coming back to us. So, yeah, anyways, I was excited. Again, not how you start, because like you should know, Mark, after every half, I'm like, oh, got him right where we want him. 10-3. This is our type of football game. So I was just proud that they recovered and they found ways to score points and move the ball down the field.
TaNeisha, I've got to revise my ranking. So who's sending Tyler Loop a Christmas card? It's Boswell, then it's DK Metcalf, then it's Mike Tomlin. I'm sorry, I needed to get that right.
Yeah.
I have the
Shout
stat.
out.
The Steelers have not scored more than 7 points in the first quarter since week 1 of the 2022 season. So this goes back to my half-baked idea of like, can we just pretend like it's the second quarter when the game actually starts? Like, can we run like a scrimmage of some sort to get everybody warmed up and loose? Because it's like, it's okay to score more than 7 points in the first quarter. It's allowed. You're not banished. Man. You're not banned from the game if that happens. It's just like, the first quarter
I think
Steelers.
if we did score 10 points, we would all be like, oh my God, we just scored 10 points. Like, hold your breath. We don't know what is happening next. That's unfamiliar territory.
Yeah, it is. It's so, like, I'm back and forth with it as well. Because trust me, I'm feeling when you're sitting in there watching it in the first quarter, it's like, yes, man, as the football guy, I get it. Yeah, all right, I see. We're trying to go through different things, trying to fill them out. Baltimore is obviously juiced up to the gills where they're supposed to be. So you're going to deal with some of that early on. And funny thing, the past 3 weeks, the same thing has literally happened. When is the offense heated up? The last play or the last drive of the second quarter. And we've carried that momentum into the second half, right? Whether we go all the way back to Detroit, right? We could talk Baltimore. It was like, dude, it all starts Miami, right? It all started
Indy.
That last Indy. Absolutely. It all starts the last drive of the second quarter, and then they get the momentum. But part of that to me is Arthur Smith's approach. Remember, we said he's not the guy that's coming out the gate, boom, 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 boom. No, it's the methodical. I want to show you jab, 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 jab. And you're like, oh my God, you're trash. Oh, what's this? And now the only flip side was, hey, we got a little, it depends on how we look at it. Were we too aggressive with the Kenneth Gainwell going forward on 4th and 1 versus kicking the field goal? That's, a conversation that we'll all talk about, and rightfully so. But to me, that's where you can see Arthur Smith saying, okay, now I'm ready to give you a little bit more, where they're switching up the tempo of it, right? But then in the second half, you'll see them, man, okay, we're going to hit Move a little bit more, MVS a little bit more, Thielen a little bit more. And like what I said last week, the only difference between what they ran last week and this week, number one, Rodgers played a lot better, but it was the execution of it. Man, Adam Thielen had created separation at times last week. We talk about Scotty Miller winning at times last week. Difference is, it's like, man, maybe the relationship between Rodgers and Calvin Austin, maybe they're a little bit more in sync, and that's why that completion happened last night versus the Scotty Miller being a little bit off. But as a whole, the concepts were still the same concepts. The dudes that we kind of saw creating opportunities, it was there. But the thing that I do appreciate is all three of us said last week, Gainwell needs more opportunities. Pat Freiermuth needs more opportunities. Jaylen Warren. Mark, you always do a great job of even bringing up the money and how it's broken down and why we need to play through those guys. I do feel like that was a very intentional thing coming into this game. And you saw it early and often with Warren, with Gainwell. And that's why even though we didn't score on that 4th and 1 to end the half, I was just happy that we put it in a playmaker's hand. If we're going to go down with the miss, man, go down with your team MVP. And you're trying to get them one-on-one to the perimeter. We know, hey, man, with Baltimore, do you want to beat them physical for physical? All right, maybe not. Let's try to hit them with get a guy one-on-one in space. They make a great tackle. Shout out to them. But to me, I just loved the mindset of we're not playing to lose. We're not afraid of you guys. I know what has been my MO. Hey, we usually take the points here, but as we've all seen this year with Coach Tomlin, they've been a lot more aggressive. They've been going for it a lot more on 4th downs. Evolution, right? You don't get to 193 regular season wins, tying Chuck Noll for 9th all-time most winningest regular season coach. You don't do that without evolution, right? So when I see the Kenneth Gainwell flip, toss play, it's like, once again, I just like the mindset of it all. And I think that's, kind of why I was left with that thing. But offensively, the second half, they heated up. and the execution was there. And I think that that's the part that I keep having more hope with. I'd rather us start slow and gradually build up into it versus what we always experience, or we feel like we experience a lot more times defensively, right? Hey, man, that offense came out the gate hot. Hey, that offense came out the gate, scored 2 touchdowns. That offense came out the gate, scored, oh my gosh. And then it's like they fall off a cliff. That's the flip side to it. And it's the human nature. We all do what? The reason why we want to have a lead in the beginning of the game is so we can all do what? Right? We want to breathe. And when you breathe, what do? You relax. When you relax, what does that do? You open yourself up. And that's where you see us do what we do. All right, now we coming to eat. Now we coming for you. And it's a weird, man, do you like the early comfort or do you want that slow, methodical, once it gets going down, the avalanche is rolling? I'm just over here like, man, as long as you're finding a way to win, that's all I care about. But I get all of that. Trust me, I do.
I prefer the woo-saw, Arthur. And the reason I say that is honestly is very matchup dependent in this game, where it was just like in the first half when Henry had 112 rushing yards. The Ravens were also winning time of possession. They had the ball for nearly 17 minutes. In the second half, Steelers flipped that. They hold Henry to what they do, and they actually won time of possession, had the ball for 34 minutes. And to me, a lot of that is what Rodgers was able to do. Like, Rodgers led the Steelers in rushing at halftime with 20 yards. Believe
and he
it or
looked
not.
fast. His second, not the first run. That first run was a little but he had a nice run though. He looked fast that one. All right, just throwing it out there. On the side.
Gainwell and Warren, I thought, ran really hard. I think that's a great point. And it's like they were tough to tackle in space in the game too. But Arthur, I'm with you. I have no problem going for it. I thought Collinsworth did a nice job in his analysis where when Keanu Smith went in motion on the play where Gainwell got stopped short of the goal line and the Steelers were left scoreless before the end of the first half, I would have liked to see the Steelers had something where it's like, okay, if no one follows Smith in motion, let's go to that side of the ball where you have a numbers advantage. I don't know if there was a play, something that they could have done to adapt what the Ravens defense was giving them to where there's an adaptability where it's like, okay, if they follow, then you flip it to Gainwell. If not, but I'll say this too, putting your playmaker, putting your running back, your team MVP in a one-on-one against a defensive back, you've got to want to take your skill position player there. But you had Freiermuth on the outside trying to make a block, but you had 2 defenders there, and Gainwell trying to make one man miss. I just would have liked to see where it's like when Smith went in motion, go with the numbers and go with the defense is giving you. And I'll say this, way easier said than done. Hindsight is 20/20.
No, that's fair.
I like
Respect.
them going for it. Yeah, I knew they were going to go for it because we have a new Coach Tomlin. So the going for it didn't shock me. I thought they obviously the play call, I'm never going to love it, and I don't have to until it wins us a playoff game. Until then, I will not like the toss play, and I will not condone the toss play. So nope, didn't like the play call. Nope.
TaNeisha, I know I saw on Twitter the tush push there because it was 4th and 1.
It was like 4, from the one.
Because remember, it's passing for in the end zone play before.
Yeah, I would have loved a tush push combination, something there. Like fake the tush push and do one of the things that we've been doing. I feel and again, when I see the toss play when there's not a lot of space, it makes me nervous because our guys missing space. But now we're condensing the space to literally on the goal line. So that what they usually have to work with, you no longer have to work with that. Just basic math of what you're seeing. So for me, it's like, yeah, I didn't like the play call there. It was what it was. I'm going to let it ride. I will never condone a toss play until it wins us to the playoffs. That's just where I'm at with that.
Hey, all good. It showing up got us an AFC North championship in 10 wins. So, I am not tripping at all on that play. Like I said, I've grown to enjoy this here toss play. It's grown on me. Shout out to the toss play, all right? Shout out to the toss play. But, yeah, I definitely hear what both of y'all saying. I do agree. There are certain parts where you would like to see, man, maybe we have this as a dual call. I know sometimes, though, if you have a call specific like that, we call it a flip at 9 play, right? And it's like it's literally just designed to be read. And when you have a call that's predetermined like that, this is part of it. Now, my other side is this. I feel like at times we talk out of both sides of our necks, right? We want consistency. We want them to run the same play, but then we'll be over here hollering about they're so predictable. This offense is so boring. I could tell you what's coming before they even run it. So it's like, yo, how do we want it? I feel like unless the outcome is perfection, and when I say perfection, I mean on that specific play. We know nothing's going to be perfect across the board, but unless every call equates to success, it's, looked at and is questioned very differently. But I just think that, man, as a whole, some calls, man, it just didn't work. And I don't mind a Gainwell getting stopped on a one-on-one versus a guy that made a heck of a tackle. The same way, as you heard me say with Isaiah Likely catch over Ramsey at the end of the game, it's like I'm not tripping on that when a player makes a great play. Sometimes it's like they are supposed to make plays too. That's why they're out there. So I don't know. I think that's just like my response to it. But I definitely can see that argument, though, both sides of it, though, 100%. Yes.
The windows get tight. I was gonna say the windows get tight in the red zone, and I will say this to Pittsburgh's credit too. The fact that they were in the red zone 4 times, the Ravens weren't ever in the red zone in last night's game. So statistically, that was one of many advantages the Steelers had when you just look at the team stats in this game. TaNeisha, hop in. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was gonna say I thought that we were predictable up until probably week 12. Week 11. I feel like since then, we've mixed up a lot of things. Now, there's some things that I feel like we keep kind of doing where I'm like, okay, whatever. It's just part of our offense. I got it. I understand. But I feel like overall, there's been some play calls where I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't see that one coming. Now, every time, I think so far, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. I think so far, every time Jonnu Smith has lined up in the backfield, I think I know what that play is. Other than that, I feel like we've been doing different plays. Like, I've been pretty impressed with the fact that I'm like, I can't sit at home anymore and be like, oh, okay, this is that one. This is that one. And the one thing we're not talking about, because we've kind of forgotten about them because now they're like solid, is that offensive line. Like, that offensive line, nobody even talks about them anymore. Nobody says anything. Nobody, like, ever. Like, even if they manage to get a penalty, nobody even, like, I don't want to say nobody cares because we care, but it's just like, that we're just living with them. We're like, okay, our little guys. And it's like, they have been the most improved from last year when we all came into this season saying, we're going to go as far as this offensive line is going to take us, and we have to get better. We were so bad. Like, it was bad last year, the penalty, all the things last year. This year, this offensive line has been not only good, they've been consistent. They've given Aaron Rodgers time. Even when there isn't time, a lot of times it's a breakdown. So this offensive line has played phenomenally well. We would not be anywhere close to where we are right now without that offensive line. So kudos to them. I just wanted to, like, because I know that was the one thing this year I was like, okay, but this offensive line, boy, I don't know. Remember in the preseason games, I was like, oh God, please block for whoever's at quarterback. And now I'm just like, we just expect them to do their jobs. That means they're good. Like, that means that they've got this thing down.
And I'd also say shout out to Pat Meyer, right? The O-line coach. That was the guy that I think before we even got to the season, everybody was ready to fire him. And they were saying it was exclusive because Broderick Jones, right? Yeah. And it's like, man, we talked about how Broderick had improved. Then Broderick gets hurt, and it's like, wow, we're watching Dylan Cook come in, doesn't miss a beat. We watch Andres Pete come in, don't miss a beat, right? We're watching the different variations of combinations. Spencer Anderson come in here, doesn't miss a beat. And it's like, yeah, man, the fact that we don't talk about them is the tip of the cap. That is one of the parts that, yes, I'm glad that you brought them up, because it's like, man, we know how bad they were talked about, coach, players included, and to see the different combinations at this stage of the season where it's got to have it time. Also versus a super familiar opponent. That's also part of why those Ravens-Steelers games are back and forth, and they'll start out sluggish and then they can go explosive at any moment because we just know each other. If I've seen you and I played against you twice a year for 20 plus years or 10, 15 plus years, regardless of how much we change the characters in it, I still know your blueprint. I know
Yeah.
your identity to your core, what you're trying to do, and vice versa. So that's the part where you can see the coaches have to make those adjustments. And when we talk Arthur Smith, man, what he's been able to do in terms of getting the most out of the group, right? We talk about this wide receiver group specifically. Roman Wilson did address again, right? We know the coaching staff has been viewed as negative at times because of the lack of Roman Wilson introduction and participation. But last night, I thought was just another example of, man, if you're going to make this decision, show us why. Make it validated. And when you see an MVS make those plays, you see an Adam Thielen make those plays, you see a Calvin Austin make those plays, you see a Pat Fryman, it's like, all right, you're watching Kenneth Gainwell, you're watching Dagor, Jalen Ward. It's like, okay, if you're going to do this and y'all playing like that with that level of confidence, yeah, man, you're right, Arthur Smith. Great job. Great decision. Because when the production isn't there like it was versus Cleveland, these type of decisions get questioned, right? These type of, man, why this versus why that? You got to make sure that you are validating it. And I thought that, man, Arthur Smith, with the group that he put out there and with his version of calls, his version of aggressive, his version of creative, his version of I'm going to make you play how I want you to play, is showing that, man, even in 2026 now, it still can work.
Yeah, with the offensive line too, the touchdown Gainwell had and the block Mason McCormick had, being able to pull and get out to the edge because it's like a reach block to be able to give Gainwell a lane to score the touchdown. It's a huge play because not only are you matching Baltimore score and taking the lead back, but this came down. It was 3rd and goal from like the 2, and I'm already running through my brain where it's like, shoot, this didn't work on a goal to go situation at the end of the first half. If it didn't work again, what are they going to do on 4th down if they don't punch it in? We don't even get to that point because of the offensive line's ability to run the ball to that right side on that play. And go back to the time of possession, and this was it was okay going into this game. An offense, the Steelers' offense, that had scored 6 points against Cleveland. And it wasn't so much of, okay, how do we stop Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? Because Pittsburgh's done it before in previous instances of this rivalry. But it's, what does that look like when they're out on the field keeping our offense off the field and the Steelers' defense getting stuck out there? But that block by McCormick was just an example of how this offensive line has grown and being able to run the ball, which is still something I think they struggle with a little bit. But in terms of the protection of Rodgers, too, who is playing with a broken wrist as well, they've been pretty stout. And especially considering Broderick Jones is injured, too. Dylan Cook continues to play at a high level. And the fact that we're not talking about it, TaNeisha, like you said, lets me know that they're doing their job.
Love it, love it, love it. I like when we have these positive conversations, man. Good perspectives, man. Good. I like this. Even though we don't always agree on it, it's just refreshing. I like this, man. Shout out to y'all, all right? Shout out to y'all. Now, the other thing I want to ask from an offensive perspective, when we compare what our offense did versus what the Ravens offense did, just strictly offensives only, right? Do you think that the Ravens did enough to win just based on what their offense was doing versus, how we performed? Or do you feel like our offense did actually outperform Baltimore?
I thought our offense outperformed them because it was more methodical. And I think that helped our defense. Because, I feel like that's how I feel like football goes. I don't think it's just one for one. I think it's you get this, and then this is the bonus that you get for doing that. So I think that helped our defense. I mean, in some instances, you could say that the Ravens were scoring too fast, and it was putting their defense right back out on the field. But I think our offense was more methodical. I think our offense, and as a Pittsburgh fan, I think we needed that because our task was monumental stopping Derrick Henry. Our defense being tired, being worn down, being all of that was going to come back and hurt us more than it was going to hurt them. We don't have Derrick Henry in our offense. We just don't. So I think I think our offense did what we needed them to do to help the other side of the ball. And I think that was super impactful in this game, because I think if that offense did not have those offensive drives the way they did and the time they were taking off, I don't know if our defense would have been able to contain Derrick Henry as well as they did.
Yeah.
TaNeisha, to piggyback off of that, I mentioned time of possession. So the Steelers had the ball for 34 minutes, but I look at the total number of plays. Steelers had 73 offensive plays, and you contrast that with Baltimore, 48 offensive plays.
Yeah.
Now, we're 30 to 45 minutes into this podcast, and we are going to be remiss. Oh, okay. How did the Steelers offense get right? A big key in this game, and I don't mean to minimize any of the impacts of the Steelers players, but Kyle Hamilton leaving the game with the concussion was huge, because when he was on the field, I'll put it in terms of yards per play. When Kyle Hamilton was on the field, the Steelers had 3.9 yards per play. When he left the game, it was 6.9 yards per play. And so you're talking about he played 38 plays, and he was off the field in concussion protocol for 35 plays. That was a huge part in last night's game, because Baltimore loses arguably its best defensive player. And that is really when things started to flip, and the Steelers figured it out in the second half from an offensive standpoint.
Shout out to you, Mark. You don't miss. I swear you don't miss. He's like, yo, I peeped when Kyle Hamilton went out. And I peeped all this, and when these passes across the middle of the field started to hit a little bit more. Oh, yes. We 1,000% agree with you right there, man, because Kyle Hamilton, and this was part of what we, when I was getting frustrated last week, I was like, yo, move this situation, and it's not going to change when you got a Kyle Hamilton out there, right? We talked about Grant Delpit, and we were like, yo, Kyle is an upgrade, right? He's even better. That still held true. Heck, you even saw, I think it was a third down attempt we had, and Rodgers is forced to throw it away because Kyle Hamilton is rushing the passer. It's like, Kyle, what are you doing? You're everywhere right now. That's Kyle Hamilton. That's his impact on the game. So, yes, when you lose a player like that, it does impact you. And funny thing, TaNeisha, going back to what you talked about benefiting us, right? A week ago, no DK, no Calvin Austin. We kind of had a chance to work through our mess in Cleveland and play a lot better this week. Theirs happened in game. 38 plays into it. So that means out of 70-something plays you said we played, talking about another 40 plus that they had to figure out 50%. On the go. And this is also while Nate Wiggins gets bumped up and banged up at a little bit. So now you have multiple key pieces that you're having to adjust with. And that's why we say every week, right? Everybody has different injuries. Everybody has different things that pop up, and we all have to kind of adjust to it. But sometimes that's the part where it's like lucky break, right? Man, bad timing. We've been on the bad side of that before, but this was one of those where it helped us because, yes, no Kyle Hamilton for that majority. It's no surprise. But that's also why Kyle is Kyle, and no different than if we take Lamar out. It's like, yeah, you can put Tyler Huntley in there, but there's a reason why Tyler doesn't make and isn't as accomplished and decorated as Lamar Jackson. So absolutely, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I also think too, because every week I've looked at like how many times we were 3 and out. This game, we had one time where we were 3 and out, and we had one time where we were 4 and out, and it resulted in a punt. And then the other one 4 and out even the downs we had 7 plays. So my point is, even that, like we were doing the little things, moving the chains, keeping our offense out in that field. And we're just better for it. I mean, anytime your defense has to go against a Derrick Henry, you need as much rest as possible. You need as much time as you can go, okay, we don't have to talk about that guy. Woo, it's cold out here anyway. Let me just get myself together. So when it's time to go, I'm ready. And I felt like our offense did that. They did a great job of just letting those seconds tick. Let them sit over there for a minute.
Despite the communication issues, and I know we were frustrated with the timeouts, but from what I saw, Pittsburgh executed out of the timeouts that they were forced to take because the communications in Rodgers' helmet were scrambled or not working.
Yeah. And like you said, seeing that part, it's like, I know if we don't score, I'm losing my mind. All right. And I'm with y'all because it's like, why are we taking timeouts back to back?
Yeah.
On the goal, like we're like 2 yards away. Like, what are we doing? We know, hey, we're gonna need this time, or maybe we're gonna need this time out. in about 3 minutes, right? So yeah, but I would much rather them get it right, right? And I think that that was the sentiment from Rodgers, and that's going back to why a veteran quarterback, it just matters. It hits a little bit differently, right? Young quarterback might just say, "Man, F it. It doesn't work. I'm gonna call my own call at the line of scrimmage because that's what the goats do. I'm gonna call my own call at the line of scrimmage because that's what the fans would tell me to do, right?" But we're watching a four-time league MVP, a Super Bowl champion, who has seen and done this over and over and over. But even in that moment, he's like, "No, bro, let's get this right.
Let's talk
We
about
practice
it.
for a reason. Let's talk about this."
Yeah.
I thought it was the ultimate sign of respect, and it was something that I really enjoyed to see because of, like you said, what's the narrative? Man, we don't need Arthur Smith, or Arthur Smith is bad. If anything good happens, it's because of Rodgers and Rodgers exclusively. He's calling it. He's drawing it up in the dirt, right?
Yeah.
So to see these things take place where it just like a hard fact debunks the narratives that get created for whatever the narrative is being created for, right? I don't get into why it is, but it's like, man, that part I just thought was refreshing to see that Rodgers and a guy that have a situation will bang 2 timeouts to go talk it over with the Arthur Smith, where we all can see that, yeah, man, whatever's going on in here isn't working right, but execute out the timeout, man. And that's players and coaches working together. And that's, to me, man, what this Steelers team was able to do better than the Ravens for 4 quarters, execute in all 3 phases. Now, I wish it was linear execution where it was just like, perfect, let's go. It's usually like this. And at the end, you're like, okay, we ended up higher than we started, but it was a lot of squigglies in there, a lot of that going on.
Yeah. The other thing, too, I really enjoyed was I feel like so when Aaron Rodgers, the first time he scrambled, I feel like he realized, I think he made a decision to not sacrifice himself. Like, I think if that was like the 4th quarter, he might have tried to go for it. But I felt like there was a moment where he kind of realized, like, is this worth it for me right now? And he didn't do anything. And then there was a time where he got sacked, and he kind of came up and was like messing with his wrist a little bit and doing all the things. And I remember thinking in my mind, I'm like, the way I gasp when anything happens with Aaron Rodgers, it's like your grandma. When your grandma turns the corner too sharp and you're like, "Are you okay?" It's like everything he does, I'm like, "Are you okay? You're fine. Okay, cool. All right." Like it's this weird thing I have with him. And obviously it's because he's 42 years old and because like he's our guy. But it's just funny to watch him out there, watch his football brain work, but sometimes his body isn't with him. And so it's just an interesting thing to be able to watch him out there because he's doing the things. I mean, how many times did he throw yesterday? Like 40 plus times. I mean, he was out there. Like he was playing football. I mean, all the things, hits, running, scrambling, throwing the ball, like he was doing so much. And I just, at week 18, for him to be doing all of those things last game of the season. I know he set out the game, but still, like, that's a feat. And while I'm on this, Coach Tomlin, the health report this weekend was beautiful. Everyone was healthy. Everyone was go. Now, obviously, there's people that are on IR. I got it because those are serious injuries. That's what that is. But the minor flesh wounds and all, like, excuse me, is no one going to talk about the fact that every single guy that was available in week 18? How many years have we been able to say that? Usually we're whining and we're like, "Oh my God, where is so-and-so? He can't play. It's Coach Tomlin's fault. He should have been tackling in week 12. And it's like, hello, another thing that, I mean, everyone was healthy. Everyone was ready to go. Everyone.
Let's go.
I made such a good point. You guys didn't have anything to say. See,
look, I was over here like, yo, I'm with you. Shoot. But I say shout out to the health, shout out to the fact that Rodgers is healthy at this stage, and most definitely shout out to the fact that we had all of our guys available, including TJ Watt, who made one of the biggest plays for us, right? We talk about the interception, when we talk about moments, the little things.
I want to talk about TJ, but I'll stay on Rodgers for a second. 31 of 47, 294, the touchdown, no turnovers for the whole Steelers offense, 2 sacks. Let's get some of that holy water on the cast. That's what I think that we could do, you know? And
his name is Preacher or Father Max, by the way. I looked it up so we could start speaking him into existence.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what type of Steelers voodoo that they had last night, but we were talking about how the white cast Rodgers was better than the black cast Rodgers. He was pretty good last night. He was pretty good last night. And I really thought that even though the Steelers only scored 3 points in the first half, I know he had a little bit of a connection with Gainwell out of the backfield, but I thought Rodgers really kept Pittsburgh in it in the first half because they weren't doing much else. And again, my point being, he led the Steelers in rushing in the first half as well. So it's like, other than Rodgers, it's like, can someone help the 42-year-old man out? Can someone help him out? I'll talk Watt with you guys. Joins Hall of Famers, Julius Peppers and Lawrence Taylor, the only players in NFL history, 100-plus sacks and 9+ interceptions. And, like, this was a question I had for both of you is, like, TJ Watt has to be in the conversation. We talk about, like, the hands, the best hands for an edge rusher we've ever seen in terms of, like, his ability to create interceptions off the edge. Like, I've never seen anything like it before. I mean, I remember watching Julius Peppers play. Lawrence Taylor was before my time. But it's just it's like he's like a magnet to the ball. I know a lot of it's right place, right time. I know a lot of times he's not always the one rushing, but to me, it seems like a lot of his interceptions come off either another player's deflection, like we saw with Cam last night, or one that he creates himself. And instead of just batting the ball to the ground, he comes up with it. And that happened yet again last night. And getting him back healthy, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say this. There's not another player on the Steelers roster. There might not be another player in the NFL who would have come up with that ball. It might sound a little bit crazy, but in terms of what we've seen, and again, I point to in that category, he's with Julius Peppers, and we're talking about Lawrence Taylor, two of the best edge rushers to ever do it. That was a huge play. And I know we don't like to go into ifs and everything. If the Steelers go and score a touchdown and the ensuing drive, again, what does that do to the momentum of the game on a shortened field? But that play helped the Steelers win the takeaway battle too, which we know when the Steelers do, that improves their odds of winning and their chances of winning significantly.
I mean, shoot, when we look at it as a whole statistically, I'm like, where did the Ravens do enough in any place to feel like, they should feel like they whooped us, man? I felt like we was doing what we were supposed to do out that thing. But to me, man, TJ Watt, this is why you pay him what you pay him. This is what you expect from TJ. This is why we say it's better to have the TJs on your team than to have to go and defend against the TJs, right? Because they can do freaky things to blow open a game or just change the trajectory of a game. And that's TJ. Even when he's not necessarily making the play, it creates one-on-one opportunities on the other side. When we're looking at high school, you're looking at, it's like, yeah, you know why they can't do certain blocking protections? Because if you do that versus TJ Watt, you're a fool. The same way we looked at it, was like, oh, why are they so worried about Myles Garrett? It's a tight end every time. It's every time. Just watch every pre-snap formation with TJ's with. Just watch it. It's like tight end, running back. Oh, motion over here. Oh, why? Because you have to account for those type of players. So to me, man, it was just really good to see that, man. It was really good to just see him be back out there and being healthy. We know, man, that lung situation was scary for a lot of us, right? But to see him be able to come back and play a full clip, like, now granted, it's still in the rotation, but it wasn't as if we were talking, hey, man, TJ only gonna play like 5 snaps, 10 snaps. No, he was in the thick of this thing. He was out there. So that was the other part where when we just talk about special players, right? We talked about Cam here. We've talked about Aaron Rodgers, right? Guys that we say are gold jacket guys, right? Future Hall of Famer dudes, man. Guys that have cemented their legacy at this level because they've kicked butt for so long, regardless of the variables, regardless of time, location, how they feel. These dudes just show up. 2 weeks ago, he had a surgery. Just 2 weeks ago. Think about that, man. And this dude is back out here making plays in one of our biggest games of the season. That, man, to me, is what you do, man. And that was, like I said, man, just just pet. Just like, yo, shout out to my dog, man. Shout out to the young guy over there, man. Who ain't young? He ain't so young so more, but he's still the young guy. All right? Shout out to my dog right there, man. But definitely like that though, man. Definitely do. But what I want to ask y'all though, man, as we're getting on the back end of this thing, offensively, who was the guy or guys that y'all, want to just acknowledge and say, man, we won this largely due to them game balls type thing, right? Who would be those guys on offense that you want to acknowledge?
For me, it's Rodgers, because to match what Baltimore did late in that game, and especially leading up to this game, 6 straight quarters without a touchdown, that's why you bring him in. And that's why where it's like, is it worth it? And all the hoopla, and is he going to retire or not? And is he holding the Steelers hostage? No, he is. Last night's why you bring Aaron Rodgers in. And in a primetime game, win or go home, he's able to deliver late in the stretch when it counts the most, and with challenges of helmet communication issues and your best offensive player not playing in the game. Like, you could go excuse after excuse after excuse. He was able to still find a way. So for me, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, what about you, TaNeisha?
I'm giving it to the entire offensive line. I'm giving every single one of them a game ball. Every single one of them. Without them, none of this would have happened from all of them. Like, even just I'm giving every single one of them a game ball, because, and it's not even for me, like, I'm selfishly going to give it to them for this game, but also as a thank you to every other game that they've shown up this year that nobody has said anything about them. Like, it's amazing to be in this place, and they deserve it. Without them, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have had the time. Without them, Aaron Rodgers wouldn't have felt comfortable. There were moments where I thought they were going to get to him, and he stood in there because he trusted what they were doing. And just shout out to that offensive line. I think they're the underrated heroes in all of this.
Let's go. Love both of those selections by y'all. For me, man, I'm going with Calvin Austin III for a couple of reasons. Obviously, we saw the big, go-ahead game-winning touchdown that he caught. But I look at it as, a accumulation of, when he was drafted here, he was exclusively a speed guy. Dude, that to me, man, I was like, man, I just want to see, more development route running wise. And we've seen throughout his years him just continue to get better, right? Him just continue to find ways to improve his game. Can he go across the middle? He starts showing he could do that. Can he survive combat catches? Starts showing he could do that. Then it was like, man, could he be the deep threat, right? And it was like, oh, he's starting to show that he could do that. And to watch him on that specific play and to just see it be not I'm faster than you, I'm just going to run a deep out or a deep over route running away from your leverage. No, he's running a stop and go, and he has to sell the stop. And I'm watching just the details and how intentional he is with the chopping of the arms and the knees and the helmet part. And it's like all of these little details that go into, as a defender, would I believe you're running this route or not? So to see that level of focus, that level of intention in one of the most critical moments of the game, and then you still can give me what your defining characteristic is, which is your speed, right? As soon as he decided to go again, runs right by the guy. And it's like, wow, that to me, man, was just like, dude, so proud of him, man. Love everything when I see just that type of development from a guy that, is undersized. It's not like he's this big receiver. It's not like he was a first round draft pick. So to see that in this type of moment, and then selfishly, because I love the, have the flossing moment when my man jumped into the section, I'm like, yo, it's like, yo, we right there. It's like, yo, you in the thing, doing it right. Like, the pitch is just, I'm like, yo,
That's amazing.
If you're going to have a moment, have a moment. So to me, Calvin Austin on offense. Now, who do y'all have getting your game balls on defense?
I'll go.
I'm going to say,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
TaNeisha, you start first.
Yeah, I'm going to shout out JPJ because he's just been phenomenal this season. I don't think anyone's talking about him. He's not going to get my game ball, but he's been phenomenal. So shout out to JPJ. I'm actually going to give mine to Alex Highsmith. And mainly because I like when the tables are set for him, basically, because he's not considered the guy. He's not considered one of the guys. He is not the guy that everyone points to stop the run. He's not the guy that everybody points to. He's not TJ Watt. He's not any of those things. But I feel like he does a great job being what he is to this team. Now, obviously that he missed that sack with Lamar Jackson. I got it. But he was disrupting things all game. And Lamar Jackson had to account for him. And then the offensive line had to start accounting for him. And those are those just like disruption, uncomfortable moments and situations where we need that. And again, I always say, do I want you to make the play? Yes. But your ability to disrupt another team's game plan, thought process, players, where they have to look for you, successful. And Cam Heyward, he had the best game I've seen him play in a long time. But I'm going Highsmith because I think without Highsmith, he did have a sack. He did have some things, but he changed the course of a lot of things. I think Alex Highsmith was the reason the first half didn't get out of control. I think he helped keep Lamar in check a little bit. That one where he like jumped up, didn't make it, and then he like ran Lamar down, like things like that. It's like, that's a hustle play. That is all effort. And I love that effort. And yeah, the defense right now, just the guys that I like it. So I'm giving mine to Highsmith just because I feel like he wasn't a game wrecker, but I feel like he changed the way things were going. And I really credit him for having a really great first half of that football game because we needed it.
I like it. Who you got, Mark?
I'll go Cam Heyward for a lot of the reasons we've already outlined. But again, I talk about bottling Derrick Henry. First 5 drives of the game. So the Ravens had 10 drives overall. He had the 112 yards on 15 carries in the first half, 7.5 yards per carry. The last 5 drives, 14 yards on 5 carries. That's 2.8 yards per carry. So I think Cam Heyward's a big part of that. If I really wanted to get cheeky, I would say the Ravens offensive coordinator for stop running the ball. But again, if it's not successful and you're chasing a deficit and time is dwindling, that kind of goes into the circumstances of the game where it's like you can't just snap the ball and hand it off to King Henry over and over again because you're going to run out of clock. But I thought Cam Heyward, it's not just his ability to be a disruptor and to figure things out in the second half when you talk about controlling the line of scrimmage. It's great getting TJ Watt back, but if not for Heyward's deflection, that doesn't happen. So you see the 2 long-time Pittsburgh Steelers making a play, or money players making money plays. To me, it's Cam Heyward from the defensive standpoint.
Man, I love it. And I'm mad with both of y'all because I'm like, yo, those are the 2 guys that I was over here like, yeah, Highsmith and Cam. Can't go wrong with either one. And then y'all said the same deal. I'm like, I dig it. All right. So now let me go look in my Rolodex of players that I thought was also playing well last night. And we obviously brought up TJ Watt. We know the interception that he had. I look at Nick Herbig as well, the sack that he had. I thought that both of those guys came in, flashed, gave production, gave a splash play. But I think I'm going to go with Keanu Benton, actually, man. I thought that he also was very disruptive in the interior part of that D-line. I thought that he was a guy that we saw some pressures be created. Now, granted, he was also part of missing the sack at the end, but once again, he put himself in that position. And that's the side where it's like, hey, man, PBU versus interception. That's that conversation. You want a pressure or do you want a sack? We want sacks versus pressures. Is a pressure still good? Yes, right? But we see what happens when you don't capitalize on a good play. It still leaves opportunity for some negativity, which we saw with the Zay Flowers part. So to me, when I think of Keanu Benton, though, as a whole, I know how critical I've been of Keanu Benton because at times I'm like, man, you are so talented, but his pad level, it's like, yo, he plays high at times versus when you talk Cam Heyward is so consistent, is so fundamentally sound every single rep. But to me, man, I thought that Keanu, regardless of optics, right, because it still wasn't always perfect. But I will say, man, I just thought that early on and throughout the game, I thought that he continued to show up and be a disruptor and just make plays. Like I said, wasn't the great play, and that's the whole pressure versus sack, PBU versus interception. But if you are still in those positions, we're still seeing the impact. We're still feeling you out there. And that's why, like I said, for me, I would go with Keanu Benton. But I love the Cam Heyward pick. Oh, love the Cam Heyward and for sure love the Alex Highsmith. Okay. 100%. Shout out to y'all for that one. All right. Well, Well. I guess we. I was about to say, usually it's far the worst time, but I guess since there's playoffs on the horizon, do y'all have anything you want to address about said playoffs before we get to the final words? No, I'm just throwing it out there. So y'all let me know how you feel about this playoff situation, Mark. I can't wait to hear, baby. Can't wait to hear.
This leads perfectly into Mark Bergin's half-baked Steelers ideas.
Nice.
I love it.
Okay. Perfect. Which team do you think that the Texans would have preferred to play between the Steelers and the Ravens? I think they would have preferred the Ravens. I really do.
I think it's the Steelers because they can't beat the Ravens.
That's what I'm. Oh, okay. Walk me through.
Like historically, they've struggled beating the Ravens.
Okay.
They just haven't been able to. Every team kind of has that weirdness about. It's the Ravens for the Texans. They cannot find ways to beat them. But I also think that when I was hearing a lot of people wanting to play the Steelers, it was because they thought we couldn't stop the run and everybody was just going to run the ball down our throats. This version of the Steelers, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know. What's your next half-baked question? Sorry, what do you think?
No. TaNeisha, to your point, I'm doing live math here on the pod, which is always dangerous. The Ravens have beaten the Texans in their last 5 matchups.
Yeah, they can't beat them.
Well, hang on.
Shout out to the research and development department in my brain.
Sorry, live math on the pod. The Texans won the last time the two teams played, but before that, it was, let me see, 1, 2, 3, I think 5 consecutive wins by the Ravens. So the Texans won the last one, but it was several games straight. I want to say 5 straight for Baltimore. I just think that the Steelers are just this team that finds ways to win. It doesn't always make sense in my brain, but it's just like, just as soon as you think that they're dead, they're not. And it's just like, how many times we said this season with the Steelers where it's like, I don't really know how they won that one, but they found a way, and here they are. But Arthur, what do you think?
To me, I see both sides of it. If I'm the Texans, the Steelers angle, it's like, man, they're weird because they are very complete, but they're not very sexy. And that's why fans struggle to appreciate the team. But trying to match up against the Steelers is very uncomfortable because they're unorthodox. It's like going against a lefty. It's like, y'all play weird. Y'all play big ball. Y'all blitz, but then y'all have a TJ Watt. Man, y'all give up a lot of yardage, but y'all create a ton of turnovers. What is this? With Baltimore, it's simple. It's, man, if you can contain Lamar, you can get out that stadium. And I get what Mark is saying, because if I'm the Texans, I'm not scared of the Ravens element all the way because of Josh Allen. I just seen, these type of unicorn quarterbacks. And it's like, man, we have a pass rush now that doesn't care about what's happened in the past. With D'Amico Ryan and that pass rush there right now, and they're like, yeah, man, we want a quarterback that's going to try to out-athlete us. And that's where teams struggle, to me, playing against the Texans. That's part of why I do feel better about us, because we don't try to play through Rodgers in the sense of go and be the guy that makes everything happen. That's what the Bills do. That's what the Ravens do. And you can see where when those guys are off or impacted, how it affects them. So that's why if I'm the Texans, it's like, yeah, I probably would have preferred Baltimore regardless of the history of it because of that part of the matchup. Even Zay Flowers' production, it's not him running robust routes. It's Lamar Jackson extending the play. That's the issue. So if you're the Texans, what do you feel you hang your hat on every week? That D-line, that pass rush, their ability to get after the quarterback. Whereas if you're playing the Steelers, man, they're going to run the football. They're going to slow it down. But then their explosive nature is play action, hit you with a tight end. Oh, man, they can take a deep shot to a speedy receiver. Man, this DK, can he make a guy miss? And that's the weirdness. So to me, I think that that's the part where if you're just, as a player, we sometimes prefer the simple yet harder task, which is the Ravens because of Lamar, versus, hey, on paper, this is the better man. Hey, man, we should feel better. It's like, nah, dude, they got a lot to worry about. You got a lot of just little things. Our tight ends can beat you. Our running backs can do it. Man, is this the week that the receivers, you see, that's very different than when we say in Baltimore. We know what Baltimore is. If Lamar is on, you're in for a nightmare. If you can impact Lamar, bro, you feel great, right? So that's kind of like how I look at it, man. But the Texans, man, they're a good team. We know that. Every team that's here now, that means you're the best 7 teams in all of the AFC. I know last year it was the Bengals. They were the team that was really supposed to be in. They were really good because they won 5 games down the stretch and just missed it. And this year was going to be different. Yada. But once again, the Steelers have proven that they are one of the best 7 teams in all of the AFC, and not just winning a division, but now hosting a playoff game, man, versus a Texans team. But the thing that I also want to get your thoughts on, Mark, is this. What's our Monday Night Football record? What's our Monday Night Football record?
This is where everything goes head-to-head, Arthur, where the Steelers have tremendous success at home on Monday Night Football, coupled with the lack of recent playoff success in the last decade.
Something's got to give.
Yes. And it's just like we're in for a collision course of those two things.
Hey, unstoppable force meets the immovable object. Coach Tomlin can't win in the playoffs. Coach Tomlin still don't lose on Monday Night Football at the house. What's gonna happen? Let's go. I can't wait for it, Mark. Oh my gosh. Mark, you said we're not gonna wish our life away. Okay, so I'm gonna try my hardest. Okay, because you know me, I'm part TaNeisha, where I'm gonna enjoy every part of telling everyone my guy has 193 regular season wins, tied officially 9th all time with Chuck Noll, won the AFC North Championship again with the 2-time MVP Lamar Jackson, Super Bowl favorites with the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, unstoppable offense, Lord have mercy, and of course we know the 2-time former coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski, RIP to his jobbing situation in Cleveland. But with all of those things, it's like, the guys, yeah. So a lot of me is enjoying that part, but yeah, the other side is, man, can we get the Monday night, baby? Because the way that they keep talking, I just can't wait to keep showing them. Because it was 4 weeks ago, we were supposed to have it all done. Renegade, throw it out, fire the big dog. And Mark gave us the beautiful words of encouragement. December is on the way. And since then, 4-1. 4-1 since then. Shout out to Mark. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Arthur. I'll tell you what, too. Can we finally just get the bad stench off of us? Just please go to the playoff game. Please.
I know. Like,
that's all that's missing. Literally.
It's like, come on. Yeah. I mean, and you all know how I feel about us when we go against good defenses too. So it's also like all of the things, right? It's like great defense. We're at home on a Monday night in the playoffs. Like, this is it. Like, this is it. Yeah. This is the moment. I'm excited.
So you credit Pittsburgh for being in this position, but 6 straight playoff losses. Let's finally get this bad stench off of us. We're
Seriously.
Just like whatever we need to do to find a way to win.
Takes.
I do think being at home helps a lot. I thought the home field advantage played a factor last night as well. So
yeah, the crowd was great last night.
I'll say this too, Arthur. I am thanking my lucky stars that Pittsburgh doesn't have to go against Buffalo in the first round, because it was like, if that were the case, I'd be like, man, we're delaying the inevitable. Houston, I think, is winnable. I mean, right now, I saw the opening. This game opened as a pick'em. It opened as a pick'em, which normally if the two teams are even, the home team favored by 2.5, maybe 3 points. But right now, it's a pick'em with Vegas. I'm sure the line will shift one way or another. But it's like, man, let's just find a way to win a playoff game. And then it's just like, then we can get greedy. But I want to just end this narrative of how the Steelers have gotten to this point, because like the joke too is that the Steelers are always go 9-8 and 9-8 and 9-8. What is it? They've only actually even done that. Was it once, or haven't even ever finished 9-8 before? So it's like, since they moved to a 17-game schedule, so it's like, I know that's the running joke with Pittsburgh, but man, it has to find a way to win on Monday night, like point blank, like
whatever it takes.
Anyways, yeah.
Shout out to both of y'all. Shout out to both of y'all. I love it. I love it. Yeah. Take care of business, man. It's that simple. This is what you live for, though. You put yourself in this position, right? When you talk about home field, you talk about getting a chance to host a game. Why does it matter? This right here. All of the variables of why it's more challenging to play at home. This is what you fight for all season long. And the other thing that I would say is this. Because we're Steelers fans, we're never going to maximize the praise. We're never going to maximize the belief in it, right? In comparison to how we talk about the Texans. But in our last 5 games, we're 4-1. Just remember that. You talk about a hot team. You talk about a healthy team. Talk about a team that has a quarterback. Talk about a team that has pass rushers. Talk about a team that can run the ball. Talk about a team that O-line is blocking, right? Talk about a team that we still have a kicker that hit a 57-yard field goal last night. Right? All of those variables, it's like, you said Vegas has it as pick 'em. I think they might be on to something. Because to me, it's like, yeah, this Steelers team is dangerous. This team is hot, very hot. And you're watching them win once again in a multitude of ways. Whether you talk Detroit, Baltimore the first go, you talk Miami, it's like, whoa, how, what, this, And then even when they stub their toe against a Cleveland, it's like, man, oh, it's definitely over now. Nah, they come back and respond in a different fashion with the non-usual suspects, right? Going to the receiver fountain this time, right? So I look at all of that, and it's like, yeah, this is a team that you better be ready for. You better be prepared for because they hot and they believe. And that's what you're seeing right now. You don't go 4-1 down the stretch, man, if your team doesn't believe versus every single team that had to win. Where was the game where a team could unplug? Where was the game where a team could deep side? Where was the game where a team could just sleep on the Steelers and we surprised it, right? That's what I think of when I think of luck. It's like, oh, man, you backdoored this, man. They won't really prepare for you. They won't really think about you. They came in half cocked, TaNeisha. You dig me? Baltimore, could they, was that not the equivalent of playoff atmosphere for Baltimore? Was that not the equivalent of playoff atmosphere for Cleveland? I apologize. Granted, now they were trying to get Miles in his sack record, and shout out to Miles, he did finally get it, right? So they're the outlier in this. And that's funny. That's the one that we lost to.
Yeah.
Oddly enough. So that's what I look at. It's just like, man, this is a team that's dangerous to sec, man. Dangerous to sec.
Yeah.
Hey, here's where I'm at going into this game. And this is kind of just Pittsburgh being in a playoff position. The competition is going to ratchet up because the AFC North and I think the NFC South were the 2 weakest divisions in football. However, to be in this situation this morning where I look across the division and you look on social media today, Kevin Stefanski's out of a job in Cleveland, and the Bengals post a very ambiguous message on their social media about how it's not up to their standard after winning the AFC Championship game and going to the Super Bowl a few years ago. I'd much rather be in the Steelers' shoes this morning, point blank, with the understanding that once you get into the playoffs, and even if you get by and you beat the Houston Texans, the competition is going to ratchet up now that we're into the playoffs. So you got to be playing your best ball, going 4-1 down the stretch. It leads to some optimism. But again, you go back to the lack of recent playoff history of success. And I look at Pittsburgh's standpoint. You got to go back to January the 15th of 2017, the last time the Steelers won a playoff game. Let's end that this year.
Who did they beat?
It would have been Kansas City.
Yep. So you had the Dolphins, Kansas City, and then lost to the Patriots in the conference championship game.
Got it.
And
Okay.
Since then, Steelers have lost 6 straight.
And let's make sure we also include the record of Coach Tomlin with Aaron Rodgers in all of those playoff games as well for everybody that, is been through on that part, because, I think that also matters a lot, but we do leave out that part a lot. So it's going to be one, baby. I'm excited. All right. Final words of which I got from me. Final words before we get up out of this thing.
Yeah. Final words is we're going to the freaking playoffs. Enjoy it. Enjoy the win. We beat the Ravens. We swept the Ravens this year. We beat them to get into the playoffs. We win the AFC North. We beat the Ravens. We're in the playoffs. Enjoy it. Like all the things, just enjoy it. Sometimes in life, it's okay to be happy. It's okay to be happy and be proud of your team. This is that moment where you get to be happy and get to be proud. So that's how I felt. I'm just like, just be happy that we won and we took care of business. Because if we didn't, we all know this would be a very different conversation. So we don't have to have that conversation. So we're happy.
At home, at Acrisure Stadium, I expect another raucous atmosphere. And if you're the Steelers, again, you're allowed to score more than 7 points in the first quarter. Just pretend that it's the second or third quarter right at the start of the game and see what happens. So I'm really excited to see this one. I'm excited to do a little bit more scouting of the Texans, of how Pittsburgh matches up. I know Will Anderson off the edge is a very, very good player. Stingley, his defensive back, is also very talented. And then what CJ Stroud and how this Texans team has come together. So I'm really excited to get in and do some research into this matchup, but really, really excited for Monday night and what will cap off what should be an awesome wild card weekend.
Absolutely, man. And for me, 10 wins, right? AFC North Championship, home playoff game. Man, this is what you do it for. When you started it back in July, right? We were waiting on Rodgers to show up, and it's like, man, he's here. When you think about every injury, you think about every criticism, you think about every positive and negative that has happened. You mean to tell me over the course of 18 weeks, this team was the best team in the AFC North? This team has 10, not 9 wins. They not backdooring in with the 8-1 and all that. It's like 10 wins with everything that we've endured. And we hosting this playoff game, man. This is what you love to see, and this is what they have earned. So now that you've earned it, man, let's go let the chips fall where they may, man. Go out there and play your game. Who cares what the people have to say? We are already getting ready for the dooms that you can hear when people talk, man, another year, man. Playoffs. Shoot, can we do it? It's like, man, we've already done this for 10 weeks. I want to keep this going. And when I say for 10 weeks, the 10 wins, because everybody is always, a little bit on the pessimistic side with this squad when they just keep showing you reasons why you should actually be optimistic. So for me, man, the optimism is going to be how I'm going to keep riding that wave. And just for those that don't remember, 193 regular season wins, 9 most regular season wins all time amongst any of them coaches that have ever coached at this National Football League. So, ladies and gents, hopefully y'all enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like button one time for the culture. Don't forget to subscribe and drop it in the comment section how y'all feel offensively, defensively, who you agree with, disagree with, and everything included. But we appreciate the heck out of y'all. And until next time, baby, peace.
Bye.